Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah. Welcome to my hobby channel, Floating in Dreams, where I like to talk about a little bit of fashion, but mostly makeup. And today I have another makeup related topic for you, and one that I don't very often talk about on this channel. I like foundations and I love testing them out and writing reviews on my blog, but in terms of generating foundation related content over here, I don't really tend to do that. So I thought I just recently, and I mean, when I say recently, I mean in the past 6 months or so, I've been accumulating quite a few like new to me foundations. And I just thought I could do a video where I talk about the 10 that I haven't tried yet to sort of, well, discuss with you why I decided purchasing them. Apart from a first impression, I really haven't put these to my face yet, save for one, and then I just want to chat to you about why I got these, and maybe you can help me decide which one I should put in my Shop My Stash next, because that's definitely the plan, is to take these foundations and put them in a Shop My Stash in the next few months. So every month I can try maybe one, sometimes even two new foundations. So that's the plan. Let's just get to these foundations. So today I have 10 foundations to chat about, plus a bonus one. I've got roughly 5 like higher end luxury products, and then 5 that are, well, a little bit more on the affordable side. But one thing that I still wanted to chat about, and the reason why I wanted to do this video, is the foundation that is in my Shop My Stash in June. So by the time you're seeing this, it's already just July, but I tried out this foundation, the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude, in June, and this is what I plan on doing with every single one of them. I have this in the shade 1.5, and I ended up really loving it. It just goes to show that I just know very well what I like in terms of foundation, which is lightweight coverage that evens out my skin, that looks very natural. I'm more for a very thin layer of foundation and then just going in with a concealer where I need the coverage rather than going in with a full coverage concealer. I have decluttered all of my full coverage foundations by now, so that's why all of these are going to be more on the dewy, lightweight, sometimes even skin tint kind of side of things. And this is the kind of foundation that is very much sort of the reason why all of these other purchases kind of happened, which is why I wanted to feature it here, because I didn't know what to expect of this once I decided to buy it. I heard lots of people raving about it, and it's called the True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation. Like, it just sounds like right up my alley, and I was so happy to find this. It's another great example, once I get to some of the other ones, of how difficult it can be for me and my fair skin to find the right foundation shade, if I can already buy it. Because this foundation suffers from about everything that I struggle with when I buy foundation. One is availability. I have products here that are not readily available on the Dutch market. Step 1. Step 2, why it's a challenge for me to find really good foundations, is because I am very fair. I'm roughly an NC 15 in MAC, if that means anything to you. And I have a cool to neutral undertone, meaning that very often foundations are too yellow on me and they can make me look very sort of like jaundiced and sickly. Or they are very orange, and especially because I'm more of a neutral, I prefer pink toned foundations because I just feel it's a bit more flattering. But for some reason, makeup artists also match me to very yellow shades very often. I can make it work, I can get away with it for sure, but I prefer something that's a bit more pinky. This is straight up orange when it comes out of the tube, so I was like, oh no. And thirdly, another reason why it's a challenge for me to find a good foundation is the fact that even if the foundation is available in my country, the shade range that is readily for sale doesn't include all the shades that the brand has to offer. This shade, 1.5, I bought of either Feel Unique or Look Fantastic, because even though the Neo Nude is available from Dutch Douglas, they don't sell the lightest 2 and the darkest 3 shades. And I'm like, why? And you might think, well, that's not really that big of an issue because you were able to find it online. But here's the thing, I can't swatch it. I can't go to a store and swatch this shade because it's not for sale. And that with foundation, I just don't understand why brands do this, especially if they are at this really high price point. I'm just saying. Luckily, I had a coupon with this, so the shipping was pretty much free. So in the end, it all worked out, and I ended up loving this foundation. This is the only one that I actually did review because I already tried it. So I'll make sure to link the full review in the description box down below. But yeah, this foundation was it was lovely. And I just feel that if brands were to just, on the both ends of the spectrum, that they make sure they include everybody, that would be lovely. So yeah, that's why I just wanted to sort of show you this one as an example, because A, it definitely did kick off many of these purchases. Because what did I end up doing? Because I couldn't find a shade lighter than shade 2 for this. What they do sell is the full range for the Luminous Silk. So I ended up being matched to shade 3 in store. It ended up being a really good shade for me, so that was something I was very happy with. And this is one that I haven't really tried yet, but of course it's a cult classic. And I haven't really tried a lot of Giorgio Armani makeup, and it is a brand together with Gucci that I am sort of like interested in trying a bit more. However, Gucci isn't even for sale in the Netherlands, I think. I may have to check that out if I get to travel again. But yeah, Giorgio Armani is for sale now. It's been, I think, for about a year or two. And I just really wanted to see what the fuss was all about. I had a coupon code for this one too. I tend to buy expensive foundations with like 25% off coupons, just to make it a bit more manageable, you could say. And this is the Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation. If you don't know what this is all about, this is a foundation that people have been raving about for years, saying how great it is. And because I was in the store and I wanted to buy this, but they didn't have my shade, I was like, well, I've got this coupon, it's gonna expire anyways. I was gonna buy an expensive foundation anyway. They don't have this one. I might as well try this one. So that's why I asked them to match me, and they do have the full shade range of this in store, which was good. So I did end up buying this. It just comes with a pump. This comes in a squeezy tube, and I do really like this foundation from what I've tried, like the first time I tried it. I was amazed with both of these actually, texture-wise. I've never seen brands do anything like it, so I can't wait to try this a bit more often, but this may be one that is more of like a fall winter one for me, so I don't think I want to try it like first, because it's just not necessarily what I want to go for right now, where I feel that this is more like skin tint leaning. It's very lightweight. I feel that this is more like a traditional foundation, and I like, because this to me is more like medium coverage. So for me, this is something I like to use a bit more in like the fall winter time, because I feel that my skin needs a little bit more help. When it gets a little drier, it starts to look a little bit dull, and then I want to go with an actual, more like actual traditional foundation, you could say. So I don't think this is going to be my pick for like the very next thing I'm gonna try. Because I do kind of use different types of foundations in different times of the year, because I just feel that my skin has different needs throughout the year, just like with skincare really. So I try to alter my base products to what my skin seems to like at that moment in time. And I remember when I bought this, I was like, this is probably a really good spring summer pick. And I feel that this is a good fall winter pick, but I think I got both of these in like January or February around that time, so both of them weren't quite perfect for that moment. So yeah, but those are the Giorgio Armani ones. Something that is quite affordable that I bought because I was going to do a full face of Milani, and the only Milani face like foundation I had was their Conceal and Perfect, I think it's called, which is very, very full coverage. And I sort of kept it around thinking, you know, then I have it, and then I have a full coverage foundation, and it is a good full coverage foundation. But then, as I was preparing for my full face of Milani, I spotted Beauty Bay stocking this. And this is the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint in 110 Fair to Light with 29% squalane. So a trend we're seeing currently a lot are skin tints, especially the ones that really fuse the benefits of a foundation with skincare, which is what this one boasts. I've only used it for my full face of Milani, and then I kind of put it in my drawer and I was like, yes, okay, great. I think I filmed that in April, but I haven't used it since. So this may be a good contender for the summertime because can you see that shade through the tube? It's a bit too dark, even though this is the lightest shade they do. Milani did the same thing when they launched their Conceal and Perfect, actually. They first sort of like released a base range and then came out with more shades on either end of the spectrum. I'm not sure what this goes like in terms of like depth, like how deep the shades go, but this is just a tad too orange for me. But I knew that, you know, in the summertime this would probably work, and because it is a skin tint, it does still work for me. I can still get away with it just fine because it is so lightweight. So that's why I was like, this is definitely something. I've been really into like skin tints, as you will see in a moment. It's just that the shade of this makes me a little bit nervous. However, I think it's one of those things where, just like with the 1.5 from the Giorgio Armani, it looks quite dark when it first comes out of the tube, but it actually looks a little bit lighter when it goes on, and I felt the same way about this. And because it has a very sheer texture, you can very easily blend it out and it doesn't look too crazy. So I feel that the more full coverage your foundation is, the more it matters that the undertone and the tone of the foundation is exactly your skin tone. The more lightweight and light coverage a foundation is, the more you can play with it, blend it, and adapt the shade a bit with bronzer if you need to. So this one may be a contender for next month's Shop My Stash. So let me know if you want me to select that, because I will be filming my next Shop My Stash over the weekend. So you can still decide what I should try for July. Let's just stay with the products I bought to do a full face with, because I actually think that a lot of them are because of that. And that is the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfect Skin Foundation in the shade Too Fair. Now this one I was able to swatch in store, so I was very happy with it. I didn't go for the very, very lightest shade. I used to, but I feel very often that if I go for a shade that is too light, I look a little ghostly pale and it's just not great. So I have taught myself to go for a shade that's perhaps one shade up from what my brain tells me I need, and it just makes it look a little bit more natural and more wearable. And I felt that this shade match was really good on me too, so I do really like it. I wanted to try a Charlotte Tilbury foundation because I was going to film a full face of Charlotte Tilbury, and I know that, what's it called, her airbrush flawless finish, it's just not my cup of tea. Very often, very famous foundations are mattifying, full coverage, and it's just not me. I can't get away with it. My skin is quite dry, dehydrated, it's got a bit of texture, and anything that sits on it that is too mattifying will just look horrible on me. It will just look super duper dry and cakey. So I just need a foundation that really sort of works with my skin, blends in really nicely, just to make it look a little bit more natural. Like, I will go for a bold eye over very flawless skin any time of day. I just, skin is just not necessarily where I really, well, I do invest, but it's not something that I pay tons of attention to, mainly because I don't want to look too much like a porcelain doll. I still want to look like a human being. And that's what I appreciated about this. This is definitely very lightweight. It's very easy to blend out. And I think this is even one that you could potentially apply with fingers because it's just that easy to use. So this is another contender, I think, to be my next one to use because it's, again, that more like very lightweight summertime kind of thing for me. Yeah, we'll stick to the full face of videos that I've been filming, but if you've watched that series, then you know that I also did a full face of Kiko Milano. This is their Insta Moisture Foundation. I have the shade 1R, which is the lightest shade they do, and it's a lovely, more pink toned foundation. And what I remember swatching this on the back of my hand in the store, and I was like, ooh, that is exactly what I want in a foundation. So I couldn't wait to try it. I loved it when this went onto my skin in my full face of Kiko, and I actually did feature it in my drugstore makeup starter kit as a great affordable drugstore level foundation that, you know, foundations can be quite expensive, and over here Maybelline and L'Oreal foundations are almost as expensive as like MAC by now. So that's, I know that people in the US go like, yeah, but L'Oreal is super affordable. The True Match retails for like $17.99, and I believe this is like 14 euros. So over here, this is more affordable than L'Oreal would be, and Kiko very often do sales. So you can very often find this at a deal. So that's another reason why I wanted to promote this. Plus, if you are in the US, you can buy Kiko online. I think it's available through Ulta as well, but they also have an official Kiko website, I believe. But yeah, this was a lovely foundation. But again, like the Luminous Silk, it's more of like an actual foundation. So this may be one that I want to leave until like October time, when I tend to make that switch to more like actual foundations and I don't just want to wear BB creams. Because that's sort of like the phase we're in right now. I just want to wear something super lightweight, because even if it's a day like today when it's super gray, we still get very sort of like stuffy, sticky kind of weather. Even though the temperatures aren't that high, but once you go out and you do something, you just end up sweating buckets. So that's why I like to go with something a little bit more lightweight. And this is more like, it's not a skin tint, it's more like light to medium, I would say. So that's why I can't wait to try this a bit more in the fall time. Not a purchase for a full face of makeup, but one that I saw so many people featuring in like end of 2020 favorite videos. And it's the Este Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup. I have mine in the shade 1N0 Porcelain. I bought this because so many people just raved about this. I was like, oh, this is great. And then I found out that this is the replacement of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Fresh, I think it's called, which I have, and that's a really lovely foundation that I love, but that's been discontinued. So I was like, oh, well, then I can try and see if I like this better, or as well as I like the other one. This is just a very different texture, I find, so I feel they're not comparable at all. I'm also not sure if it's actually being marketed as a replacement. It's just that in my brain it started to work out like that. I have this in the exact same shade as I have my Double Wear Nude Fresh. It's like that really watery Double Wear that they did. The shade is not the same. I do have to say though that I bought this online during lockdown, so I wasn't able to swatch it in store either. And it is perhaps a hair too dark for me, but it did say, because this is more like that skin tint kind of realm, even though I feel it's quite thick to be a skin tint. It's more like the Neo Nude, I feel. It's a very creamy, like rich, creamy texture, I'd say. The way they sort of, I found a chart where they sort of tell you that, hey, if in this Estee Lauder foundation you have this shade, then you need this shade in this one. And that's sort of what I went with. So this is again one where I feel like the Milani, I can make it work. I can blend it out. It will look okay. It's just that it's darker than my other Estee Lauder foundation, even though the shade name is exactly the same. We'll get to another foundation that suffers from the same thing. But yeah, this is darker than the porcelain shade that I have in my Estee Double Wear Nude Fresh. And just to have a bit of a break from all of the full face of foundations, I thought I could show you this. This is the Rival de Loop Hyaluron Makeup in shade 01 Porcelain. This was sent to me by a lovely subscriber who was like, yeah, I want to send you some German drugstore stuff because I know you can't get that. And I was like, yeah, sure, but let me send you some things in return. Like some people will say like, I want to send you things. I'm like, yeah, sure, but if you're going to send me stuff, I either send you stuff, and please figure out how expensive it is to send me stuff in advance, because some people don't realize that if you're in the US, it can take up, it can cost you like 50 bucks just to send it over. So please don't. But with her, we did a bit of a makeup exchange, so I thought I could feature it here. It's one of those like serum-y kind of foundations. It's got a dropper, and she was like, then you can try it, but the shade is probably way too dark for you. And I think it is, because This is dark, but I think this is even a hair darker, even though this looks a lot more peachy toned than this one is. This still looks quite pink. So yeah, maybe I can make it work. It is very lightweight. I think this is the only one I haven't even put on my face yet. So what I like to do whenever I have new makeup to try, I like to just like already take the pictures that I would use for a blog post like straight away. And then I tend to just like put it on my face for the picture. And I haven't taken those pictures with this one yet. So yeah, that's definitely on the like to-do list for like the next couple of weeks, is to make sure I put this one on my face as well as some of the other things she sent me over. Shall we just lump these together? I think I'm just going to lump these together because a while ago, Douglas had a sale going on. And if you bought several products, you got a higher discount. And there, I found 2 foundations. I was like, yep. And the 2 foundations I found were these 2. The Dior Forever Natural Nude Foundation in the shade 0N. And the YSL Touche Eclat Foundation in the shade BR20. And with these, again, I wasn't able to swatch them in store because it was online only. And I have the, what's it called? The Dior Backstage Foundation in 0N. And that's one of my favorite foundations in terms of like shade match. And this worked. It was perfect. Shade match wise, it works really well. It's a lovely foundation, very natural on the skin. And I believe this is one of the newer Dior foundations. And ever since I bought that Backstage one, I think over 2 years ago, I really haven't tried anything else that they came out with. And I quite enjoy the texture of their Forever concealer, even though that's dark, too dark, because they don't sell my shade over here. But they do sell my shade in the foundation. So yeah, this is a nice foundation to again try. It's too foundation-y again, I think, for like right now. So I think our options are still the Milani or the Charlotte Tilbury, I think. But then the YSL foundation. So this is their Touche Eclat. Does it have another name? It just say Touche Eclat. That's all it says. And I bought this because the YSL All Hours is one of my favorite all-time foundations. Together with the L'Oreal Infallible Stay Fresh, their dupes. The L'Oreal foundation is the Touche Eclat or the All Hours foundation, but then at a drugstore price point. They are very comparable. And the BR20 shade in the All Hours is my perfect shade. It's just that the All Hours is more like my special occasion. I need to make sure my makeup lasts through a sweaty dance party kind of situation, kind of foundation. So I was like, hey, this sounds like it's more glowy, more wearable for every day. So I thought this could be great. It's dark, too dark though. I got the same shade as I own in the All Hours. And this in the bottle looks about 3 shades too dark. It's similar to the Milani, so I think that it will work. Again, I did already put this on my face. I felt like it was a little bit too dark, but I could blend it out. What I have found, however, is that this is a foundation that pulls lighter when you blend it out. So you know how some foundations, once you blend it in and it oxidizes, it turns darker? This does the opposite, so that's luckily for me. However, now I come back to my Giorgio Armani problem of having to go abroad to buy a shade. With this foundation, they seem to offer different shades in store than they do online. So this shade is for sale in the Netherlands. However, they don't sell it in a physical store. They only have it available online. And if you buy online, you don't get a tester. And the way things work in the Netherlands when you purchase makeup is that if you use it, you can't return it. So I got this in going like, that looks too dark. But then I went to the store to see if they had a tester, to see if I could like try it in advance, to see if I could open the bottle. There were no testers because this shade, according to store inventory, doesn't even exist. Only when they go online, they go like, oh yeah, we do sell that shade. So when I asked them if I could exchange it for a lighter shade, they were like, no, because our online store, we can only make an exchange if we have it physically in the store. So I was like, oh. So I decided to just stick with it because it was not worth the hassle and just wing it and see if it works. And it is very lightweight. It's really nice, light and dewy. It's perhaps a little bit too deep for me, but I think I can kind of make it work if I make sure I blend it out really well, and because it does pull lighter than it looks in the bottle. Yay! So I just wanted to make sure that if you were looking into this, because this I think is the new repackaged edition. I'm not sure if they've reformulated because they already had a touche éclat before, but it came in a tube like this. But they've just repackaged it to make it look like the old hours, or whether it's completely formulated and they've extended the shade range, I don't know. Yeah, this is new to me for sure. And then last but not least, 2 skin tints that I wanted to try. If you saw my new makeup releases in May, then you know I was quite taken with these 2 new releases. And I had already decided that I was going to do a full face of Fenty later in the year. And then I was like, ooh, yeah, now I can make that work, because the Fenty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation that I have is not my favorite because it transfers really badly on me. So like when I wear that, I need to be very careful. I don't I don't touch anything else because I will just be missing a chunk of foundation. But when I take care of it, it looks really lovely. But then, you know, I was like, yes, I bought this off of Sephora in France, together with some other Fenty stuff that I wanted to get for my full face. And they recommended, like if you go to the Fenty website, like the official Fenty website, they've got a really good system for like figuring out what shade you need, I find. So I went with the shade that they said would be best if you have the shade I have in the Pro Filter, which is shade 120. So I got shade 1, which I feel it may be a bit too light initially when it first goes on. Again, I've only tried it once, so maybe I should put this in my stash. But I think I will save it for next month, because actually in August I plan on doing the Fenty Beauty full face that I have planned out for you. So that's coming. But yeah, that I can test it out perhaps in August and do it then. And the other one that I was holding up is the Nabla Skin Realist Skin Tint. What's this called? Beautifying Tinted Balm. And the full face of that I'm going to be doing in July is going to be Nabla. And this product is the thing that made it possible, because I realized that really all I was missing from Nabla, say from like brows and a primer, because I kind of skip those products when I do full faces, because else I just end up with way too many and I can't use it up. But yeah, all I needed was a foundation and a concealer, and then I was good to go. So I was like, okay, Nabla. So I decided to buy this. I have this in the lightest shade, which is Fair. And again, I'm just going to hold up the Milani again. The Milani still looks darker. Okay, so this does look light, but it is very yellow toned. I don't love the very yellow toned ones, but again, I've tried it once so far and I did really like it. So help me decide which lightweight summer, perfect for summer foundation I should try next. Should I put this in my stash, the Nabla, the Milani, or the Charlotte Tilbury? Let me know in a comment down below. But yeah, those are the products I wanted to chat to you about in today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week, so if you'd like to stay tuned, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.